this doesn't really pass the reasonableness test, right? I mean, when you examine it, the defense is making this argument, Pamela, that he, that is George Floyd, could have come back out of unconsciousness and attacked him, but did it really appear that he could have done that given the fact that he was motionless? So the jury has a lot to evaluate, but on balance, based on what we're seeing so far, it's an uphill battle, to be clear.
Right. I mean, you heard the defense attorney there say you will see that this was all part of his training, but that is up against two officers who have testified already, and then the police chief who will be testifying tomorrow. I mean, how does the defense counter these officers who are saying, no, he was on his bed for too long, this was not part of our training?
Yeah, and Pamela, with great difficulty, not only will we hear from the chief, but expert witnesses from the prosecution who will just say that this just should not have occurred. Now, the defense so far has been raising these issues. The first issue they've raised is there was concern for, right? The problem you have from the police, and there's no indication on those body cams that they were concerned at all. To tell sidewalk and to assist. They weren't trying way other than that. So I think that argument falls off. Slip back into consciousness and come attack, I think it's hollow, because you have an obligation, if you're an officer, right, we've heard so far, to reassess, right? The initial force might be appropriate in as much as you want to gain control, but then there comes a point in time when you determine whether you need to reevaluate. And as time goes on, reevaluate. Was any of that done? Answer so far, no. And so I think the defense has a hard time using those two arguments and trying to, make the case that this was exactly what Chauvin was taught to do. I think not, at least so far as we know.
And it looks like the prosecution is trying to contrast the heavy emotional toll felt by the witnesses with the relative coldness and lack of emotion that Chauvin displayed in the footage. Do you think that's an effective strategy?
It really is, Pamela. And at the end of the day, the judge will instruct the jury that you are not to base this case on emotion. You are to base it on the witnesses and what comes out in the witnesses' vows in the stand. That not only that, but other testimony, other evidence, video, surveillance, what have you. But people are human beings, and it's hard to disconnect that. And then, of course, as it relates to the emotion, you saw the girlfriend testifying. There's the emergency text. She was a bystander at the scene, was off duty, saying, "Let me help, take his phone." But when the girlfriend testified, just to get back to that emotional point, she not only provided